Right, guys, welcome back to Football United TV. Um, Before I say anything else, I didn't want to not do the stream because I've been kind of absent, and like in times of struggle, it's also good to have some things to get to help get your mind off things. But I just wanted to start this by saying that by sending my prayers to the Ukraine with all the horrible things that are happening in there. I really hope that it ends really soon. I'm sure everyone here agrees with me and that people stop dying. Like I really like there's no place for war anymore with the technology that people have right now. It's so freaking scary. Like the world could end in a blink of an eye. So I really hope it stops. If you're watching from the Ukraine or anywhere nearby, stay safe. My prayers are with you, all your dear ones, all your families, and yeah, that's the message I have. Stay tuned after the intro. Yes, guys. So this is the F.I.T.A show, the second episode, football in the Americas. I'm here with my co-host and one of my good friends, Johnny from Golasso Kids. How are you, my friend?
Good, good, man. Glad to be here again. We spoke about Brazil last time, so I'm glad to take it up to North America this time. Talk about the MLS. Will be some interesting conversation.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely looking forward to it. Miss Mel, my dear
I'm looking
friend.
forward to it. I'm looking forward to the discussion mainly because it's in North America and something I can finally relate to rather than Latin America. Um, so I'm excited, and I'm excited for the games on the weekend too.
Yeah. I should have said that to start off. Actually, like we're 2 days away from the MLS season starting, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's
we're
coming at
still
a good
finishing
time.
up on some signings too. So
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna be using the designated players of the eastern side of the MLS, right? The Eastern Conference. We're gonna be using that as a base, but we're gonna be talking about the league in general, that side of the league as well, at least. Brogav, my good friend, it's been a while. How are you?
Yeah, good evening, guys. Good evening to everybody. Good morning if early morning if you're on the other side of the world. But yeah, I'm excited to be here. I mean, it's great to talk MLS. It's not something obviously we don't do it very much, but it definitely deserves its respect. So I'm excited to be here in terms of that.
Absolutely, absolutely. I should apologize. I'm eating. I'm starving. I'm sorry. I couldn't sort out my food beforehand. I'm gonna die if I don't eat while
It's
I'm
7 o'clock.
doing this. So you
It's
might
dinner
see
time
me
here.
chewing every now and then. I'll mute myself to avoid any embarrassment.
How dare you?
But but we have here. Well, Johnny's not really an Inter Miami fan. He does live in Miami though, so I don't know. He's gonna have slightly more information on that, but like we're gonna be talking about the whole thing. Brogav, Orlando City fan.
Yep.
All right, and we have Miss Mel, Toronto FC fan. Well, we're not really well spread, but we do have three different representations here. So let's get this going, guys. I think Johnny was asking me what order we're doing this in. I feel I want to spread both of your teams a little more. I think I'm gonna start with Atlanta. So it's starting alphabetically because it's a team that's been really successful as of lately. I'm actually gonna share my screen, and I'm sorry, guys, I'm not that professional at this just yet, but just so that you see the players that they have. And this has been a very competitive team lately. They've sold players to the MLS, to the Premier League recently as well. Um, that Almiron at Newcastle, I think he was there before, right? They had
Yeah.
Josef Martinez is still there, really good player. Johnny, let's start with you. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts for Atlanta, and who are the designated players? Actually, I'm not too sure.
Yeah. So, well, first of all, you mentioned Josef Martinez, Venezuela international. He was a crucial part of Atlanta United's MLS championship run a couple years back. He's still in the
Mhm.
team. He hasn't been performing as well as he did that season. He suffered with injuries, to be fair to him, but he's still one of the best players in the league. He came from Torino, so he didn't really reach the potential that people thought he would in Europe, but he definitely did in the MLS. He's definitely been performing, and I think if you're an Atlanta fan, you're just hopeful that he goes back to playing at the level that he did when they won the championship.
Yeah.
Aside from him, Atlanta also has Luis Araújo, which, if you follow the Brazilian league, you remember he came out of São Paulo around the same time that Anthony and Davineres did,
Yep.
and he was probably the least mediatic player out of those three. But he's the only one who won a major tournament, right? Lille. He went to Lille. Lille was French champion last year. It wasn't PSG. Surprise, surprise. And he was a starter for that team. So it was actually very surprising to me that he ended up going to the MLS. Um, but hey, if you're Atlanta, that's great news. You know, it's not every day that you get a starter from a championship team from a top
Yeah.
European league. So we'll see how he does. He's a winger, very fast, loves to dribble, doesn't score a crazy amount of goals, but that's what Josef Martinez is there to do. And he'll definitely be able to assist him there.
Yeah.
Um, aside
Thiago
from
Almada is actually a player that's been linked with a bunch of English clubs
Man,
recently.
yeah. So we started off talking about the designated player, but Thiago Almada, like, man, it's been few times that I've turned on my TV to watch the Argentinian league specifically for a player. The last time I did that was for Lautaro Martinez, and I definitely wasn't disappointed. And the latest player I've done that for was for Thiago Almada, and also super impressed. Super impressed. Actually, the fact that he went to the MLS and not to a top team in Europe, the way Lautaro Martinez did, is almost shocking to me.
Yeah.
So we'll see. He's
Yeah,
a little younger, but I expect amazing things from him. I've seen from what I've seen it, he should dominate.
All right. It sounds like Bargav had an opinion about that. What are you gonna
nah.
say,
So
man?
like we're gonna get to Orlando soon, but like the player you just mentioned, Diego Almeida, right? He's one of those
Almada,
players.
yeah,
He's one of those. Say it again.
Almada,
Almada.
yeah.
Sorry, I guess yeah, Almada. He's one of those players. Like I think he's on the same level as like one of the designated players we got. So
One hundred
he's
percent.
definitely like one of those guys that I think is. Atlanta finished fifth last year, right? One
I
place
think
above
he
like.
can also play on. I think he's versatile too. He can play on the wings as well, if I'm not mistaken. I think previously he's played left wing before.
And I think that's a record signing for them too. But they do record signings like every year.
How does it work that he's not a designated player though? Because he was being seeked by a bunch of richer European clubs. I think Arsenal was looking at him at some point, and he ended up going to the MLS. I know that they pay really well to they pay the designated players really well, but if it's not that, usually even Brazil pays better, doesn't it?
How much did they get him for? 20 mil?
16 million, I think.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I mean, being a designated player is only like a salary thing for the player. So I mean, now we're gonna go into speculation. I don't think there's any facts behind this, but I imagine that they either promised him a raise or to become a designated player after the first season, or because of COVID and he
He couldn't
didn't
get a
find
move
the
elsewhere.
chance in Europe that
Yeah.
he thought he was. Yeah.
Okay.
I think like the COVID season and the COVID market really infiltrated a lot of players. They couldn't get a move to like a Premier League or La Liga, or even in Europe, like Europa League.
That makes sense. That makes sense. And well, from what I'm hearing, it sounds like all three of you agree that Atlanta's probably going to be dangerous this season, right? Like they look like one of the favorites.
Yeah, they'll definitely make the playoffs, I imagine, and then after that we'll see how in shape they are. But I will definitely put them in the top three in the East.
All right. Mel, Broga, do you agree with that?
I agree. I think they're setting themselves up well to start the season. I also think they'll make the playoffs for the Eastern Conference. Let's see how far they do after that. Hopefully, these words don't come back to bite me. I also want to see Toronto improve as a Toronto fan myself. But I think they're strengthening in numbers, and it makes sense, some of the signings that they've made.
All right. Brogav, anything
I don't
else
know.
to say about Atlanta?
I don't know about this one. I mean, I feel like 3 through 5, I think, is a possibility, but like they still got like some ways to go to be like a solid 3. But we'll see. We will see.
All right. Well, let me ask you this. Let's see if we find a consensus here. Like, who do you guys say is the strongest club in the
Eastern Conference?
this season?
Potentially, just based on names, honestly, maybe Toronto.
I wish. I think you're taking the piss there.
See,
I
the
don't think
thing
it
is, like, I
was.
think Nashville's gonna be better this year too. So
No, I think we'll fumble the bag. That's the thing. I don't see the thing with Toronto is we start off good and then we're inconsistent. I think Nashville is a good shout, or even Philadelphia.
yeah, like Nashville last year surprised me, and I saw. I think that team's gonna get better this year. So I think I can see them in like doing things, but it all depends. I mean, it all depends on chemistry and
Nashville's
stuff
Western
like that.
Conference, right? That's Western.
No, they're on
I
the
meant,
East.
are they?
Is Nashville East or West?
I think it's West.
I think they're
They're in the West. They're not here. You're here. Nashville.
Oh, my bad. I thought you were talking about. No, they're in the East. man.
Oh, no,
They're in
no,
the
they're
East.
in the West. I just checked.
Yeah.
It's Columbus, New York, Chicago, and Atlanta.
Yeah, Nashville's West.
Right. Yeah. I meant like the strongest club in the East. Johnny says Toronto. I feel like Toronto
Potentially.
has been one of the. Yeah.
Potentially.
All right. You know what? Let's move on to Toronto then. That's Miss Mel's favorite club. She does support 3 clubs, I should say, but this is her favorite local
This is
club.
my local club, yes. I go to the games. I'm looking forward to the season starting. We recently made a signing from Pacific FC for Kaiden Chung, so I'm looking forward to see how he does. He's a new right back for us. And most importantly, in the summer, I'm looking forward to Insigne. I still think he has a lot to offer coming into the MLS. Hopefully, he will adjust fine with the squad depth that we have, and we'll be able to be consistent. But the one thing with us is we start off the season well with a good run of fixtures, and then we end up, losing to teams like Montreal that we shouldn't be losing to. We're a lot better set up than them, better coached than them, I feel. And sometimes we end up, conceding goals that we shouldn't be, defensive errors and individual mistakes leading to silly goals. But I'm looking forward to the game on the weekend as well with Dallas. I think that should be a good game. And I think we have a good coach. So the season starts on Saturday, I believe. Yeah, Saturday with Dallas. And I think it'll be a good start. And one day, hopefully in the summer, I get to see Insigne live. That would be great.
Yeah.
I think he's a quality player.
I think he's gonna kill it at the MLS. Like Johnny, you're a Napoli. Well, you said semi-Napoli fan. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so
I'm not getting
just to
arrested.
make
These
it
are the
clear,
firemen.
my family is of Neapolitan descent. So I sympathize with Napoli. Calling myself a fan, I think is a bit of a stretch. But yeah, Insigne is one of those kids. Like he's born and raised in Napoli. He actually learned Italian like in his 20s. He only spoke Neapolitan. So he's I have no idea what it's going to be for Insigne to play anywhere outside of like not only his country but of his city, because I think he's only been outside of Napoli for away games like ever in his life. So and Napoli, is a city that like it doesn't even get that cold. So I don't know how he's gonna do in a Canadian winter.
Oh my gosh.
There's like a whole like human part of this that for me is like a complete mystery. Some
Culture
people adapt
clash.
really well. Some people it's a disaster. The guy goes into depression or whatever. Hopefully not.
Culture and
Obviously.
weather, and yeah.
Yeah. So
I think weather is a huge factor when you think of people coming from Europe to Canada, especially Toronto, the winters that we have.
yeah,
We've had a lot of snow, 20 to 30 centimeters and minus 30 degrees weather conditions here.
and he's Southern Italian. Like the
There's no
weather
way
that
he's
he's
used
used
to
to is a
that.
lot
Yeah.
closer to South Florida, than most of the U.S.
But
much
I
less
also agree
Canada.
with Charlie. I think he'll do well. It's just a matter of him adapting to the MLS and, the style of football that we play.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean, he has
no
played
offense
Champions League
to
games in like northeastern Europe. He's played Northern Italy gets cold as well, doesn't it? Like he's been there. He doesn't
no,
play a
sure, but
game in England.
one thing is to take a flight, play a game, and come back, and another thing is
Yeah.
like to wake up every morning and
Yeah.
and it's -10 outside. But that being said, quality wise, he's way above the MLS average, like way above.
Yeah.
He won the Euro Cup like months ago, so
Yeah.
Exactly.
as
I'm
a
picking him to
starter and a
struggle.
key player.
I think he's struggling.
You think he's gonna struggle?
So next year he's gonna struggle. But so there's two parts to this.
Because
Like,
of aging or
nah, like it's not. I guarantee you, like Southern Italy is like very different than the United States.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, not the like. I mean, there's gonna be two parts. I think he's gonna struggle with. One is the travel. The travel's not the same in the MLS, and I don't think he's gonna do well with the amount of travel he has to do. The second part is like I think his style is perfect for the MLS. Like I think he's a perfect strike. He's a perfect like player for it. Like in terms of like styles and whatnot. But at the same time, his first season I think is going to be a big struggle.
Yeah.
So next year I don't see him doing like much, but I think in the but down the road I do see him like he'll contribute like enough that
Okay.
he'll make a decent impact. Like he's going to be like Nani minus like the COVID break in some ways.
All right. I mean, I should ask about like other designated players if they have another one, but I mean, from what I've seen from the MLS, I know that it's a league that's evolving at a really quick pace, perhaps the quickest out of like all the leagues in the world. Like it's remarkable what's happening in the MLS, but I feel like it's evolving a lot faster attacking wise than defending wise, right? Like the videos I see, the defending is kind of poor.
Oh,
So
it's
when
terrible.
yeah,
It's terrible.
when a player with the skills of Insigne goes there, I feel like he's gonna score some goals. I feel like he's gonna get some assists. Johnny, were you gonna say something?
Uh, well, specifically to add on to what you said, I mean, if I'm a sporting director for an MLS team, that's what I would do, right? If I have only big money to spend on three players, I mean, not to like depreciate the position, but I'm gonna spend it on strikers. I'm gonna spend it on the guys that are close to the goal, and maybe someone who even financially who's gonna sell more jerseys. Because one way or another, you got to get that money back. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
just the reality, and it's very hard for a center back to be able to do that. So I think that's why that happens a lot of the time. And yeah, but other than that, I agree with what everyone just said. I mean, he's 30 years old now. Insigne's not a kid, so the adaptation is going to be crucial. And maybe it's going to take a season. Maybe it takes two. Maybe he doesn't adapt. Maybe he adapts immediately. We also see Brazilian kids who leave Brazil at 17, go to Ukraine, for example, maybe at this time, or go to Eastern Europe somewhere, super cold, super depressive, and they kill it immediately. So we'll see. It's all speculative.
All right. Mel, what are the other designated players at Toronto?
Designated players we have now is Kaito. He's a defender for us. Pazzulo,
There you go.
he's a midfielder for us. And I think Insigne is also going to be a designated player. I'm not too sure.
100%. Yeah, he's making.
I'm assuming because it's a big signing. Big signing. I think one of the biggest spending we've ever done for the forward position. So, I think he'll be our latest designated player in our roster.
All right. This we got to move on to the next team, but this Salcedo, Johnny, I feel like I've seen his face before. Has he played in Brazil or a national team?
No, he played for Tigres, the Tigres team that won the Conca Champions, and then went to the Club World Cup. He was part of the roster that beat Palmeiras, and then lost against I don't remember what the European team was that year.
The year before was it
the Champions League last year? Jesus.
Chelsea?
No, the year before
Chelsea.
Jesus.
Bayern Munich.
Oh my gosh, was it
Bayern?
Bayern?
Was it Bayern
No.
Munich? Yeah, it was Bayern Munich. And then Bayern Munich beat Tigres 1-0 in the final. That's what it was. Yeah. So Salcedo was part of that team. That's why you remember him. He also plays for the Mexican national team. So
he's not a bad
yeah.
defender. He's
Super
not that bad.
top level defender for sure.
All right. Let's take a break before we go to another supported club here. So let's go to Charlotte. I mean, I might be saying something wrong, but I'm assuming Charlotte's not immense. I feel like it's a fairly new club, isn't it?
It's going to be their first year.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, they are definitely not ready for what the MLS has to offer. Maybe they'll need some time to set up. You know what I mean? It's like Newcastle, getting a new owner in the Premier League and starting up again. But we'll see how they do.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know any. I mean, I see some players that have played in Brazil. I don't think they were ever huge in Brazil because I don't really recognize them. I'm sure Johnny does, but
yeah. So Alan Franco, right there, we can see he was a very decent player for Atlético Mineiro. The other designated players for Charlotte, I mean, one's a young Ecuadorian striker, Alcivar, and then the other one is a Polish striker, which honestly I know almost nothing about, but his career isn't super impressive. The big thing about Charlotte is their coach, right? Miguel Ángel Ramirez. That's that's a big thing. The guy managed to go to a Copa Libertadores final with a neighborhood team from Quito. So, and then he had his big opportunity at Inter from Brazil, and it was a complete disaster. Couldn't have gone worse. And so now he's just a big question mark. Is he the big innovative coach of the future that everyone thought he'd be, or is he a bust? So he made a very unexpected move to the MLS, and I think in Charlotte, that's why I'm looking at it. It's not even the players; it's the coach. He's from Spain. There's not a lot of European coaches in South America. It's been growing, but there's still not a lot. So, I'm curious to see him and how he's going to do and how he's going to manage the team and how the team's going to play collectively.
Yeah, it sounds exciting. Let me get through the comments real quick because Matt said something interesting. He brought something to our attention. Big up, Mr. B. Big up, Talk, by the way. Love you to bits, my man.
Big up, Talk.
Big up, all.
Big up,
MLS season is almost upon us. Yes, it is. 2 days from now. Yo, again. And that he actually used to play for Leicester. I forgot that. Christian, I don't know how to properly pronounce that last name. I feel like it's a sketchy last name.
Give it a try.
Fuchs.
Fuchs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the safest route.
Yeah, I mean he's what, in his late 30s, so
Yeah.
it seems like the classic end of career move to the MLS. He might hold his own. He's definitely not going to stand out, but I
I mean, he
imagine
did win the
he'd be
Premier
pretty
League, though.
solid.
He did win the Premier League.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how good he is, but Matt seems to be fond of Ben Bender's name. It is a good name.
No,
It's a good name to have.
he's
He's
not like
what?
trash, but like he's not exactly. He's somewhere
Not
mid. Like
exactly.
he's like an okay player. Put it that way.
Okay. So first season, anyway. Like I feel like they're not really playoff contenders, right? Like I'm
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
move on from Charlotte because we're gonna have to speed through a couple of teams if we want to get this done in less than an hour. So let's move to Chicago.
Oh,
Um,
Chicago.
how's Chicago doing now? Are they a big club? For some reason I feel like they are. I might be wrong. They Shaqiri. They have Shaqiri.
Yeah. Surprise, surprise.
That's impressive.
No, that kind of ran under the radar.
Yeah.
I mentioned it to a couple people who's surprising didn't
They
hear
have
about
a
it.
couple of designated players as well that are. I think most of their players are homegrown, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
like local youth players, academy.
Shaqiri is definitely the name to look for. And what's funny, I saw someone mention to me that Shaqiri's career backwards is like an amazing story, but instead it's just like a big downfall.
That makes so
And
much sense.
yeah, because if you see it backwards, like started in the MLS, went to Lyon, got a chance at Liverpool, and then and finally made it at Bayern. But no, he made it at Bayern and just went downhill from there. But again, like I mentioned with Insigne, like just like skill wise, he's way above the league level. So I'm sure we're gonna get a lot of like amazing highlights from him. Is it enough to carry the team to a title? Probably not. I imagine they're going to make the playoffs. I would actually bet on Chicago making the playoffs.
Okay.
I don't think it's enough to win the title though.
All right. Yeah. I mean, being Swiss, he's not gonna suffer that much with a cold from Chicago. It's very cold. It gets like scary cold in Chicago. But I feel like he's gonna be okay with that. I do feel like Insigne is the better player. I feel like most people would agree with that, though, right? Like he's had
In the
a
MLS, yeah, today probably I would say so.
no. I
Like
mean, like
not even
out
on
of the
top of
two,
Shaqiri, I think in the
Shaqiri and
league.
Insigne.
Because he has
Oh, you think he's
better
gonna be the best player?
experience. He has more experience, you could say.
Yeah, but
Okay.
that's the thing. Like, I mean, I feel like it means nothing because like it is. The travel is like so intense. Like that first season is gonna be way more different than anything you're used to in Europe. Used to like traveling like 2 hours again. 2 hours, what, like 2 to 4 hours max?
Yeah,
Imagine like doing like
sometimes by
layovers
bus or
and like
train.
taking
It's
like
not even a
flights and
flight.
stuff like that.
So,
Imagine like doing like layovers and like taking flights and like
in time zones,
in time zones. It's way different. Like I mean,
I agree 100%.
like a lot of players come over here like thinking it's like a free paycheck, but even like Henri, like even like the legends like that came over like Beckham, they all struggle. But the big thing with this one is I think with like Chicago is like
Pick up Charlie.
I feel like they might need a couple more pieces. I mean, Shaqiri is going to be like the number 10, but I think like there's going to be like there's definitely more work to do with this team.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
I-
We'll see.
I mean, no disrespect, but this Alan Rodriguez kid looks like he's 13 years old. But I don't know who the player is. All right. So playoff contenders, not really title contenders. I'm sorry, I keep speeding this up.
As
But
you
I
should.
really want to get through. Yeah, as I should. All
Yeah,
right.
14 teams,
Cincinnati.
right? Come on.
Click the wrong thing. All right. Cincinnati. They have Brenner. That's a player I'm familiar with, but Johnny's definitely knows a lot about this player. He's actually had a very small period in Fluminense as well. Did not work out too well, but talented player. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
So Brenner, actually, as you can see in the picture, he came out of my team in Brazil, São Paulo. He's the striker that pushes the ball into the net. You know, he's not gonna he's not gonna start the play. He's not gonna carry the team to victory. But if you give him the ball and you put him in a good position, he's gonna put the ball in the net.
So he's basically a tap-in merchant.
I mean, I think that's being a little rough on him. I think he's a little better than that, but he's not going to single-handedly win games. Let me put it that way. He needs a team to work around him. That being said, I think he's pretty talented. He didn't have a great first year in the MLS, but if the team is working around him, I think there's good potential for him.
I remember his last season in Brazil was really good, right? It was right after his period at Fluminense.
Yeah, but I mean, but that's what I'm saying. He had Dani Alves, playing in midfield, giving him the assists. So
yeah,
that
helps. That helps.
Yeah, that helps a little bit.
Right. Anyone else that's I don't know, noteworthy here, guys? Do you want to? We don't.
I don't see them as playoff contenders anywhere near.
No.
They don't have the quality in their squad.
All right. It's too bad they don't have relegation there because I would like to ask you guys about that.
Yeah.
Cincinnati would definitely be playing the USL in 2023.
Okay. All right.
Relegation.
So not looking good for them. Let's move on to Columbus. They've won the league in the past, haven't they?
Yeah, they're one of the founding teams of the MLS. They've won it multiple times, actually.
And but how's the situation for them nowadays?
So they have Zardes in their roster, right? Was one of there he is. U.S. national team, definitely one of the highlights of the team. Zelarayan, he's Venezuelan born, but he actually plays for the Armenian national team, which is kind of random, but also a fun fact. Yeah, because of I think on his mom's side. They're Armenian. Really good. He actually played for the same Tigres team as Salcedo that won the Conca Champions and went to the Club World Cup. He was part of that team. Yeah, I think, if I'm seeing correctly, he's wearing the Tigres jersey right there in that picture, right?
Yeah, so, he is.
Yeah, super talented midfielder. Definitely a guy to look out for. And the third one is Nagbe, Darlington Nagbe, also U.S. national team player. Played for Portland for the longest time. Played for Atlanta for a little bit. Definitely a guy who knows the league. A bit of a veteran at this point, but definitely still, there he is with the Atlanta jersey. Definitely a very important player. I like it. I like Columbus Crew's roster. They're always a competitive team.
All right. I feel like Room is a really bad last name to have if you're a goalkeeper. They have some solid last names in the MLS. Austin Trusty is one I like really much. I feel like he's not going to be playing well for Arsenal, but that's an amazing name for a defender.
Someone mentioned the name Ben Bender in the comments. Yeah. Amazing name.
Amazing name. All right, Bargav, what are your thoughts about Cincinnati? Do you feel like, well, from an Orlando perspective, do you feel like they're going to give you a hard time when you play them? Like
Columbus Crew, you mean?
Absolutely not.
No.
I think they're actually. Yeah, I don't really see much in this team. I think they're gonna struggle.
Okay.
They're gonna be they're gonna need some. I feel like they're gonna need more than what they have.
All right. Let's move on to another really big club in the MLS. I keep pressing standings instead of players. Okay, really big club in the MLS as well. DC United. Huge friend of the channel, supports DC United. Jim, you've seen him here recently twice. He couldn't make it today, but he'll be back very soon. But yeah, what's the situation looking for them now? They're a really cool side, by the way. Their last kit launch video was just fantastic. They had I think it was the first time I saw this. They had a famous drag queen in the video, and I just love to see it. Like it was a video that just screamed equality in footballs for everyone. Like it screamed it in your face. I loved it. It was a nice kit. It wasn't that dope of a kit, but the video was really dope. Speaking of football, though, how's the team looking? How promising are them? How are the designated players? Johnny.
Yeah, so I think DC is one of those teams that are hard to hate. I think any of the founding MLS teams are hard to hate, but that being said, I'm not too optimistic for DC. Edinson Flores is a good player. He's not a great player, but he's a good player. Peruvian national team most likely is going to play the World Cup this year. I imagine Kamara has been in the MLS for a long time too. Very solid striker. I'm a fan. But other than that, I'm not too optimistic. To be honest, I think I'd be surprised if they made the playoffs.
All right. Do you agree with that, Mel?
I'd be shocked. I wouldn't put a bottom dollar on DC United making the playoffs. With all due respect, I
Harsh
just don't
words.
think they're there yet.
All right. 6 teams make it to the playoffs, right?
Yeah,
All
per
right,
conference.
Okay. Yeah, so it is quite competitive. I'm looking at, is this Griffin Yao guy? Is that did he play for the US at a youth level, or is he actually in the?
I imagine that's like a U20.
Okay, got it. Yeah, I don't recognize anyone else. How are they ranked within the biggest champions of the MLS?
I think DC has
Only
won it
mid.
3 times. Am I mistaken? I think they're only behind the Galaxy and the Revs. I could be wrong, but they're definitely up there. They're definitely up there.
Okay. Bargav, do you have any thoughts on DCU?
Yep, I echo what everyone said. Like, I don't think they're gonna do much this year.
All right. Also, it's 7 teams actually making the playoffs this season.
7
From what
out
I'm
of
looking at
14
here.
in each conference. Yeah, so it's about half
Yeah.
the teams,
Yeah.
or exactly half.
All right. Well, let's take a break from fast pacing and let's go to Orlando City so that Brogav can develop a little more. Holy, Pato's there. By the way, let me take a stab at this. I feel like, was the first designated player at Orlando City, was it Kaká?
the first ever one.
Yeah,
Sounds right.
It sounds
it
right.
sounds
yeah.
right? So they have a cool little history with Brazilian players there.
Well, the owner
How's your team looking?
used to be Brazilian, right?
Yeah.
Wait. Do they not? Did they change the owner, or did the
He
owner
sold it,
stop
right?
being Brazilian?
Correct me if
Okay.
I'm wrong, but I think he sold it.
Yeah, like we got like a new owner, and then they like invested a lot more. Like the new owner is like fantastic.
Got it. Right. So how's the situation looking for you right now?
It's a new year, man. It's a new year. Like if you look at the team last year, it's totally different. So like we've had our offensive unit is like very different. Like I mean, we invested like differently. Last year we had like if you remember, like we had Nani, we had Daryl DK, and then we've had like a lot of them like went so some of them like went away like on transfers. So but the thing is, like, we just invested in Facundo Torres is like someone to look forward to. So when John was talking about like Almeida from Argentina, he's like a similar kind of player. Only difference is like Uruguay. He's had caps in Uruguay. He's a player like we're looking forward to in that sense, because like he's supposed to be one of the most exciting players to come out of Uruguay. So he's one of the designated players. Obviously, like Alexander Pato was like one of my favorite players growing up, man. I remember him before he came to Orlando. His lightning pace and everything. The problem with him is like his injury record. I think every Brazilian knows this. Like, it's such a shame. Like, I mean, he's one of those players. It's such a shame, but
It's not
if he can
just
get back to like
injuries,
some form, like
but
he'll be
injuries
nice.
definitely harmed his career. It wasn't
Is he the
just that
big?
though.
Is he the biggest like miss in like Brazilian history in terms of like you want a player to like succeed so well? Like he could have been on like Neymar's level.
Nah, Ganso.
Yeah.
Paulo
I think
Henrique
he could have
Ganso,
been on like
like
Neymar's level.
a million times more.
You think so?
Paulo
PH
Henrique
Goose.
Ganso, when
PH
he
Goose. Yeah.
out of the Santos Youth Academy with Neymar, and everyone
Yeah.
thought Ganso was going to be the big player, not Neymar. And then
Yeah.
it's just, but Pato won the Serie A. Pato played World Cups. Pato
He was a
he
striker.
didn't reach the full potential, but he has a respectable career. Whereas
Oh yeah,
Ganso,
hands down, respectable.
nothing.
Because I remember I remember him at Milan. Like I mean, he was one of my like favorite players to watch like growing up. And then everything happened, like everything unfolded like injury wise.
Yeah,
Um,
every Milan fan has a great memory of him, I'm sure.
oh yeah, it's
Right.
it's kind of sad actually, but yeah, like I mean, he came. Same thing with like Orlando last year. I think if he was in the squad more, I think it would have been way. We would like known way more. It would have been great last year because during the playoff last year, like I think when Pato came on, like the game changed, but he only had like 10 minutes to make a difference, and we didn't get to see the whole like whole thing with him. But the other one is like we got a new striker. Kara from he's like a it's like a Austrian Turkish big
Okay.
strong target man. So we're gonna play like differently this year. So we got like it's gonna be very different. Like the goals and stuff have to come from a different place. We have to like see where the team develops. So if I were to put my odds on it right now, mid-table. I can't really like say like until I see more. I can't really like say much about it. But it's exciting. It's exciting because it's like it's a new investment for the future.
All
Fighting
right.
for that 7th or 6th spot in the playoffs.
Yeah, probably like it's hard because you know it's like you need chemistry and it all depends on how you develop getting that chemistry with teams.
Oh, you have João Moutinho, but the wrong one. You
Not
have
the João Moutinho,
yeah,
the
not the
other.
João Moutinho. Junior Urso used to be good for
No,
Corinthians.
he's good. He's good. I think he had like a lot of
Atlético Mineiro.
assists last year. He'll be
Mhm.
fantastic. But it just depends. Like you know, it's like when you got like a whole new team and you're changing that many players, you're gonna
Yeah.
need like 1 year. You got to give them like 1 year, 1 to 2 years.
What were you saying, Johnny? Atlético Mineiro?
Yeah, Junior Urso came out of Atlético Mineiro. That's where I
Yeah.
think he played the best, even before
Yeah.
Corinthians. But yeah, big fan. Love him.
What about this Antonio Carlos kid, former Palmeiras player?
Yeah, left pretty young. Was a promising center back. Ended up not going to Europe. Went to the MLS and pretty solid. I mean, not the best player in the world, but can't say anything negative about him.
All right, perfect. Now, while we move on, well, let's go to Inter Miami so that we stay in Florida and discuss like who's the best Floridian team right now. But I agree with Maddie. Maddie's saying some wise words here. Smash the like all. 6 people watching right now, so if you can like, share the video if you haven't yet, subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel. We just reached 760, decent number. Looking for 800 now. All right, so Inter Miami. I actually have a contact from Inter. Well, not inside Inter Miami, just an Inter Miami fan. I spoke with him, tried to get him on. He said the team is restructuring, right? Like almost half the team changed. The designated players, you see them to very recognizable names in Higuaín and Matuidi, but the rest of the team changed a lot. Who wants to go first?
Should I go first because I'm in Miami?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so the big thing about Miami, and I think everyone's more or less aware of this, but they kind of didn't follow the designated player rules, and they looked into it, and Miami had like 6 designated players, like something absurd like that. So Matuidi actually left, right?
Oh, did
Yeah,
he? Oh, Kieran Gibbs as well.
yeah. So, well, actually, I think he's technically still part of the roster. I don't think he's actually going to play. But so Higuain is still there. He's solid in the Inter Miami roster. We'll see. He can still get his goals. You know, like he's a goal scorer, but always seems like he's a little out of shape and all that. Rodolfo Pizarro, I mean, doesn't seem too motivated. I've been to the stadium a couple times here in Miami, and he doesn't come back on defense and stuff like that. Well, we'll see what happens with Inter Miami because, I mean, yeah, they're gonna have to restructure. I'm not sure how the MLS punishments are gonna affect the roster. I don't think Neville is the best coach ever. I think he's there because he's Beckham's friend, and I don't see them going to the playoffs. To be honest.
All right. How? I mean, before I get to him, because I'm curious to know how Kieran Gibbs is doing nowadays. It's kind of funny to still see him with an Arsenal shirt on. It's been a while since he left. But you're asking about Brazilian flops. I feel like Jean Mata probably fits into that category, right? Like he was someone with huge expectations.
Yeah, I mean, just talk about another like lazy midfielder. Yeah, not great. I mean, he had a pretty good career up until COVID hit. Basically, I would say. I think in 2019, he was scoring like a lot of goals. I think he was the leading scorer of the São Paulo State Championship.
Okay.
But I mean, not a player I would get excited about at almost any level. Even in the MLS, I wouldn't expect too much. I really like Gregory. Speaking of the Brazilian players in the roster, I think he's a very solid defensive mid. He used to play for Bahia. I don't know if you remember him, Charlie. But yeah, Higuain is going to score his goals, but I also don't think he's like that player that like is going to carry you to a championship or anything. So I think they're going to fight for that very last playoff spot in the East. But
I don't see them qualifying, to be honest, in the East.
So, because you said Orlando's fighting for that spot, and you said the same thing about Miami, but apparently you see Orlando as favorites to get
on top
that
of
spot.
Miami today, yes.
Yeah. Do you agree with that, bar, Gavin? Does that make you happy?
Does that make me happy?
Yeah, that was a stupid question.
If I were to be honest with you, like Miami's like a second city, so I don't really care about that. But
Okay.
as far as like I mean, for the most part, like I look at it like, yeah, I think they're gonna be below. I think they're gonna be below like us, like Orlando was.
Yeah.
I just think they have a lot to do. Like when you look at the team,
It's just the organization is a mess, right? So it's hard to have a good outlook on the field when everything else seems to be a complete mess. You know, when you're getting sanctioned, when you have 5 designated players, when you're not supposed to have 5 designated players, when you're getting, sanctioned by the league. So when your coach seems like he's there because he's the owner's friend, so it's not looking good for Miami. And I would just like to want to say one last thing, like the stadium is packed every day because Miami's excited to finally have an MLS team, but like.
Mm-hmm.
If you follow any other Miami sports, you know that these are bandwagon fans. So I think Inter Miami has 1, maybe 2 more years to get their stuff together. And if not, we're gonna start seeing 5,000-6,000 people per game because they play far from Miami, man. Like they don't play Miami. Inter Miami doesn't play Miami, right? They play in North Lauderdale. It's like at least 45 minutes.
Yeah.
At least if you live the super north in Miami, that's 45 minutes away from you. So I think they only have 1, maybe 2 more seasons of so-and-so performance until the fans start abandoning. So
no, I mean, no, give it time. I think you'll get like a decent designated player. Like Matuidi, is he still there or like what?
I think he's technically still on the roster, but he's like
a fringe player nowadays.
No, because I think they have to get rid of him because they were paying him more than they were supposed to. It's kind of a mess. To be fair, I don't. I'm complete transparency. I don't know the full details, but I know Miami got into a big controversy because of how much they were paying him as opposed to how much they announced that they were paying him.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if that affects directly if he's going to play or not, or in how Miami can sign other players. But it
Well,
doesn't
you
seem
have
like
to
a
open up that spot
well-balanced
before you can sign.
roster.
You have to
Like,
open up that spot, I'm guessing, like before you can
Yeah.
sign the players. So, nah, for me, I rate the guy like back in like the French days, but I don't know about MLS days. It's a little different. I think it depends. I think like if you look at like if you look at the horizons, like I mean, and look at all the players that will come in the coming years, I think Miami's gonna have a lot to. It still has a lot to do, but I think give it next year, and I think they'll get like somebody like last year they were supposed to get Willian, which broke down. For me, I think he's another player that's like good for MLS, like terrible for Arsenal.
Oh, he
But,
would have been great at the MLS. He would have been great.
Oh, great! He would have been great in the
I
MLS.
think
like
he's playing decently in Brazil. I don't think he's been great.
He's doing the
right?
basics in Brazil right now, just the
Yeah.
minimum. But I don't think he's terrible.
No, he looks really happy though. Like I saw his
Yeah.
interview like a couple weeks.
Oh yeah,
ago.
that's his favorite club. Like he's a Corinthians supporter, so I'm sure he's happy there. Right, guys, we got to speed up because we're very close to the hour mark. Let's go to Montreal. I think it's interesting to say it's the only like French-speaking club, right? Like it's from Montreal, so it's the French part of Canada. But
tell
the
us.
first
You tell us, how do you pronounce it? Say it again.
Montreal.
That's beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, it's in Quebec. But well, the first player I see here, a professional loser, right, from his time at Spurs, Victor Wanyama. I'm assuming he's a designated player. Who are the
I
rest?
believe the only one in the roster as of this second. And yeah, definitely by far the best player in the roster. Super solid. Super. I mean, on MLS level, he's a top player, defensive mid. I don't think we have to go into too much detail, but yeah, the rest of the roster seems well below that. So I don't see them making the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't reckon.
I
Canada,
cannot stand them. I cannot stand them. They're my rivals. I know they're in Canada, but close to home. But I can't be asked. I don't care for them. I think they have a lot of issues in terms of dressing room. I don't think some of their players get along with each other, with all due respect. And I don't see them, a couple of good players, and that's it. I don't see them making it anywhere near playoff level.
All right.
They need a couple of transfer windows more to work on their team.
I don't really recognize anyone just because we've mentioned names throughout the video. There's a defender called Ferdinand. That's always a good sign. And Joe Waterman. Pretty much every club has a great name within the squad. I like that. This is a team that's not going to be fighting for pretty much anything, guys. So we're going to be moving on to, well, this is a big one. And well, it starts with a very, very big one. We have 3 Arsenal fans in the lineup right now. So the very first name we see in there is Matt Turner, starter for the U.S. national team. He's joining Arsenal in the summer. What are your thoughts on? You know what? I'm going to start with you, Mel, this time because we have an Arsenal player in the team. So
Matt Turner plays for USMT. He's not. From what I've seen from him, there was a couple of dodgy moments against Team Canada when he was up against the likes of Jonathan David. Sometimes his footwork was not really the greatest and commanding inside the box, inside his area. I think he needs to improve on that, but I could be wrong the same way I was wrong about the Ramsdale signing to Arsenal. So I know he's a lot older for a goalkeeper, which is great. So he's probably in that mature range. And hopefully, as a backup, he would be a good option. And it would give healthy competition with Ramsdale and Matt Turner, considering Leno will be gone in the summer. So I think that's good.
Mm-hmm. All right. Brogav, other than, well, Josie Altidore, I mean, I almost said legend. I feel like that's a really strong word. But he's an important player for the U.S. men's
or longevity,
team, right?
with the longevity.
Yeah, exactly. other than these two, like who are the other noteworthy names in here?
So, sorry, I don't want to.
Yeah, Brogav. I was asking you.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this team, for me, like it's one of the favorites though. I saw him last year, and I saw him last year throughout the playoffs, but uh, we'll see. We'll see. Like, I mean, I think they have a lot to do still. I mean, they got to take that next step.
Definitely agree that they're one of the favorites in the East. I think last year they won the East Conference and then didn't do as well in the playoffs. But individually, I mean, Gustavo Bo, anyone who follows South American soccer, like, man, I used to love watching Gustavo Bo play. Deadly striker. Charles Gil was the MLS MVP of last year, so that kind of speaks for itself. I imagine there's no reason why you wouldn't imagine he's not going to come back at that same level. He's a Spanish midfielder. Doesn't score a lot of goals. He's more of a playmaker, but incredible. I mean, best player in the league last year. So, yeah, super excited about the Revs.
All right. Yeah. Sounds. Who was the other team you said? You said it's probably going to finish top of the eastern side. Was it Atlanta or Toronto? You said Toronto.
Well, we mentioned both. Okay. I think 3 of them are up there. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, this would be like the other top 3 team. Okay, so before we're gonna move on to the next team with a great transition, they have a player called Brandon. Bye. This was professional, right? Right. Thank you. We're running out of time. It seems like we're gonna go slightly over an hour, but I think we're gonna stay close. New York City. Thales Magno. This is a Vasco Academy player. He was actually linked to the Arsenal a while back. That made no sense whatsoever. He was never that big a deal in Brazil. Come on. He was good, but he wasn't like awesome.
I mean, considering his age and all that, and considering the potential, I think yes, but not literally what he showed on the field at that moment. No.
Okay, yeah.
Sure.
Let me put it this way: do you feel like it ever made sense for him to be linked to Arsenal?
I mean, just as much as Martinelli.
That hurts, but it's very true.
I mean, and it worked out, and it worked out.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. All right. Well, who are the other? Is New York City a good team? Are they going to be competing? Who are the other?
No, they're going to be up there. This team's going to be up there.
The current champions, right?
But, so yeah, they're the current champs. Like, I mean,
okay.
But I do not see. It's a hard one with them and like the Revolution. I mean, it's a long season, so you got to see the chemistry and stuff. But like, for me, I think this team will be up there.
All right.
Yeah.
We have a Arsenal Academy player here as well, Zelaleng. I remember him. I don't remember him playing. I remember him being an Academy player.
No. Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Put that very clear. All right. So yeah, current champions. Obviously, they're going to be one of the favorites. So apparently, the East side has like 4 really strong contenders, right? Like perhaps we're going to stump into a 5th as well. But anything else you want to add about New York City FC, guys, before we move on?
I think there's going to be like at least 2 there's 2 teams that have a chance in the East. Really, like a high chance in the East. But you can extend it to 4.
What?
I feel like there's 2 teams that have like a really good chance in the East. And that would be the Revolution and the New York City FC.
Okay, so even though they're strong, you feel like Atlanta and Toronto are sort of underdogs in the chase for that first position.
The thing is, it's a new season, so it all depends on the chemistry. So you ask me this at mid-season, I'll say something different.
Yeah.
All right.
But I think I would agree with that. They're on like a second tier of favoritism, I guess. If you want to call it that. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on to the other side of New York. I have no idea if they're actually like geographically that far away from each other, but let's go to the other New York team. A team. Well, this is another one. One of the first designated players they've had is my main idol in football, Thierry Henry. Thierry Henry. He might not have been the first, but I know he was one of the first because this is a fairly recent team as well, right? Well, like 20 years or so. That's what I mean. How are they looking now?
So just to add on to what you're saying, they're actually one of the founding members of the MLS. The New York Red Bull are what the New York Metro Stars used to be. They just bought the team and rebranded it,
Okay.
but the New York Metro Stars are now the New York Red Bull. And I
Mhm.
don't think there's any big names in the roster, but any Red Bull team is known for its like prospecting of young talents. So Luquinhas, for example, is a Brazilian who just came on the roster right now. He's a designated player. I mean, all due respect, basically no one in the world of soccer, but they're paying him the big bucks. I'm sure there's a reason. There's people that are a lot smarter than me that took that decision,
I
and
doubt that.
and we'll see what happens. But I don't think there's any big name in this roster that's worth talking about.
All right. Miss Mel Bargav, do you agree with that?
I also agree. I don't think there's a key prospect in that team worth mentioning more.
All right. Well, before we move on, let's just mention Lucas' comments here. Big up, like my friend. Gunners from all corners tomorrow. That's where the Arsenal chat's gonna be. Yeah, you're invited, by the way, because I feel like I haven't had you on that stream yet. I would, by the way, Drogev Mel. So are you? I would love
Yeah.
Ronaldo in Portugal. Okay. Do you feel Messi will go to America? Well, feel free to answer that while I switch to the next team, guys. Do you feel like Messi will end up in the U.S.? Go ahead.
I
He's
can't see
he's
that happening.
he's linked to Miami all the time, right?
I see Neymar coming here like eventually. I do see him coming here. Messi, yeah, I do see him coming here. Um, who else do I see coming? I mean, um,
I feel like Ronaldo looks more like a MLS player than
he'll
Messi.
come here soon. But I think like the legal case ain't gonna. It's not gonna make it happen.
Oh yeah, Ronaldo can't. And
Ronaldo has a legal case here, so
he should not, by the way. But yeah.
um,
Um, Luca, ask that tomorrow, dude. We're not talking about Arsenal here. Come on.
it was a
Respect
great,
the
great,
project
great
here.
win. Put it that way.
It was a great win. It was a great win. All right, so we moved on to actually the last team we have to talk about, Philly Union. I'm assuming another founding club or close to that.
No, not a founding member of the MLS, but yeah, they actually came in like what late 2000, 2008,
2010, 2010 or 20, not 2009 or 2010 they came.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So pretty much half the stream was people learning from Johnny correcting my mistakes. I love it. It's absolutely great. All right. So Philly Union, how are they looking now? I don't think I
Not
recognize
great.
anyone. Okay.
I don't know if any of you guys disagree with me, but they made the playoffs last year, just barely, and I think they got knocked down the first game in the playoffs. And I mean, I don't see any names on their roster that made their team any better. So I can't imagine them doing much better than they did last year. Jimmy Chara, I mean, yeah, I like Jimmy Chara. Oh no, wait, sorry, I was looking at the wrong list. He's still playing for Timbers. My bad, guys. No, the only guy they got was Carranza that used to play for Inter Miami, and didn't do great. There's a reason Miami let him go. So I don't think the Union's going to do that much better this year.
All right. All right. Well, another good name here, Matthew Rio. But that's it, guys. So just in trying a summary here. It's been said that the two favorites for the Eastern Conference are the New England Revolution and the New York City FC, right? And with Atlanta and Toronto like being the two other really strong contenders that could push for that first spot as well. And Orlando City is probably going to be fighting for playoff positions. So is Inter Miami. So what are the other teams fighting for that, guys? Perhaps
I mean,
Chicago? I don't know. I don't remember anymore.
I mean, if Shaqiri decides to to go
Yeah.
crazy, maybe.
Yeah.
And I guess
I'm
same
going
goes
with
for
New
Toronto.
York
I
City
think
for
it's
now.
more of a
New England and New York City for now, and then I think Philadelphia is like actually somewhere between.
They
It's
often go under the radar, Philadelphia.
yeah, like I like they're somewhere between like Orlando and the top. So
Fair enough. Okay.
but I'm going with those two teams to like make the playoff. To win the whole thing, I don't know. They're gonna need some things. They're gonna need
Yeah.
some.
I mean, next week we're going to be talking about the Western Conference. Since we'll have spoken about the entirety of the league, perhaps we'll try to venture like a couple of predictions. Well, not me, but Johnny and whoever's here will probably do it. Luca, this is a great question, but it has been answered before. So look back and you see we did talk about Inter Miami and like the sort of the mess they're in and how well Johnny has his thoughts about Miami fans. By the way, Miami Heat games tend to be really fun. I've been to a couple. All right, guys, thank you so much. I'm gonna give each and every one of you a chance to shout out your social medias, wherever people can find you, or you're gonna be doing. I'm gonna finish with you, Johnny, because as always, I'm gonna bring up your page. Let's start with you, Brogav.
Bargaff, you're on mute.
Yeah. What's the question?
Where can people find you? What are you up
Oh,
to?
you'll see me on
What do you
YouTube,
want to share?
and you'll see me like in random places.
Okay.
that works.
A man of few words. Brogav, thank you so much, man. You know I love you. Miss Mel, the queen of Arsenal, also the
Thank you for having me
queen of
on
the
the
MLS.
stream, Charlie. I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to the season starting on Saturday. Hopefully, we get the win. I don't want us to embarrass ourselves against Dallas. That's the last thing I want. And yes, Arsenal got the win today. So look forward to the Gunners stream tomorrow on Football United TV. Make sure to subscribe to them if you haven't already. And you can find me on YouTube at Miss Melina as well. And I do Arsenal content and FPL content.
Legend, absolute legend. So, okay, before I thank you, Mel, before I full screen Johnny, let me do this because I feel like he cares more about this than his face. So let's.
100%. I don't even know what it is.
All right, so this is his website, guys. It's you can find a bunch of awesome retro kits that he ships all over the place. Us and us only. We have a special code that you can use to
Discount
get.
code.
What is it, 10 or 20?
10% off.
10%. 10% off anything.
Or it actually might be 20. At least 10%. Let's leave it at that. At least 10% off. F.I.T.A, F-I.T.A, all caps without the periods. You can use that at checkout. We have over 2,500 different jerseys in stock, all sizes, vintage, literally from every corner of the planet. Check us out. GolazoKits.com, written just how you see it right here. Golazo Kit. That's at Golazo Kits on Instagram, at GolazoKits.com. And yeah, browse around if you like anything. Well, we ship within 24 hours. So, and worldwide. So it doesn't matter where you are, we'll get it to you.
Awesome. Just because we're on topic, here it
Yeah.
is. A couple
On
of
the
retro
MLS.
kits from the. That's awesome, man. Steel Salt Lake. One of the favorites for you guys, Nashville.
That one actually just came in today. The Austin FC pre-match jersey.
Where is it?
Super cool.
Oh, here.
One of my
Oh, yeah.
favorites. Yeah.
That looks like a playing kit.
Yeah. So that's an homage to the 1994 U.S. national team away jersey. The MLS did a pre-match jersey for every club with the same design.
Oh, okay.
And we just got our hands on an Austin FC one. Like
Yo,
super unique, very retro feel to it.
that's really dope. That's really dope. Yeah. guys, definitely check it out. As you see, it's worth it. They ship all over the place, and if you're watching this, you get a discount. Just type in F.I.T.A. And anything else, my man, that you want to shout out?
No, that's it. Thank you guys for watching all the way to the end. I hope you learned something. I hope you liked it. I hope you enjoyed it. And we'll see you next Thursday for the Western Conference.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for sticking with us. It was a lot shorter than the last one. Next time, we're probably gonna be making it within an hour, right? Like we're getting better.
We'll do it,
This is
guys. We can do it.
a lot of improvement. So yeah, guys, thank you so much. As they have said, support the channel. Check out the last streams we did. We have a couple of really cool ones coming up as well. Tomorrow's Gunners from All Corners should be an exciting one. I want to see how Steven twists that one. Like how's the Arteta out agenda gonna show in that stream, because we're in a good position right now. So yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you so much, and ciao.